What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to Minion Simulator, where today we're gonna find out which one of these huges is actually the rarest one in game. Now, whether I have it or not, I'm gonna still find that out. I'm gonna use the index to show you guys, because there are a couple of huges I still don't have myself. Now, if you see this information, the numbers that exist in game, and you thought that, hey, this is accurate info, this is the real deal, it isn't. That isn't the case. But before I continue on, guys, I want you all to know that this has nothing to do with value or demand. We're just gonna look at the facts, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna find that out, so you know which one is actually the rarest one in game. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over all of the huges in game and show you how much of them exist. And even though I'm gonna do this at a much faster pace than I am right now, I'm gonna show you guys later on how many actually exist in game and how many these boxes say that do exist. And it's not the same. It's never the same. It's always different. It's always more than it actually says. The Huge Slayer is and always will be my favorite huge. I just really regret not buying a lot of them at the time that it used to have 230 million in gold value. The Huge Fairy Bird is another one that I think is going to be really high up there, maybe soon enough into the 1 billion gold club. Huge Atomic Lizard 28 exists. I can't get it. I tried my best, but look at this. Huge Christmas Dragon also 28 exists. So once people see this in front of them, they can't decide. People with the Christmas Dragon, people with the Atomic Lizard, both of them say that their pet is the rarest. Both of them say that, hey, it's equally the same. If the lizard is so expensive, then the Christmas Dragon should be the same. People say all sorts of things, but by the time we are done with today's video, you guys are gonna know which one is the #1 huge based on the fact that it is the rarest one because it has the lowest numbers, and which one of the huges is the most. And it's kind of obvious, like the numbers are very obvious, but to see how much actually do exist, that's kind of mind-blowing to me, and maybe to you as well. So that's the whole point of this. Now here's a crazy tree. I don't like the way it looks, I mean, compared to the rest, but ever since I saw the Christmas tree, I mean, the crazy tree suddenly looks like a beauty. The Mistletoe 628 exists in game, or so they say, 625 for this. Now the Huge Robot has more than 3,000. Even that information is inaccurate. But before I go any further, guys, I'm not gonna include these in the overall list to see which one is the rarest and which one isn't, because they're still in game and you can still get them. And in my opinion, the Huge Glooby is gonna be something like maybe like more than 100 will exist. This is such a beautiful huge, but unfortunately it's buddy 1. But we're still gonna look at that information, the Glooby, the spaceship alien, and the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna be using Discord. Liftoff Games Discord is what I'm gonna use, and how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna click on the top right on that magnifying glass, which is the search button, and once I click on search, I'm gonna have to do this. You have to click or you have to type secret exactly the way it is, and you have to add that hyphen in the end. Once you do that, this is gonna appear in front of you. You just have to click that, and once this is open, it's gonna show there in the search bar. And what you have to do next is you have to type huge and then whichever huge it is. For this example, I'm gonna type Huge Robot, and look at this. It shows me every single Huge Robot that has opened in game. Now what I'm going to be focusing on is the bottom of the page, which shows me the overall result. 3,207 is the amount of Huge Robots hatched in game. Now this may not seem like much, but there's like 170 something difference. That is a lot. Like, that's how inaccurate the information provided in the game is compared to what you actually hatch in front of you. And the reason why this is going to be so reliable, or this information is going to help you out, is you maybe hopefully you don't overpay for a lot of these huges. And if you don't trust this information, try this out yourselves and switch the pages. You're gonna see that the results only show you what is actually hatched in game. 1,679, that's exactly how many Huge Dragon masks as of right now. It's still in game, so it's gonna keep on increasing. I don't think they're ever gonna remove it, to be honest with you guys. 1,159 huge creepy smileys actually exist in game, which is just about it, like 1,000, almost the same. Now we have 955 of these huge crazy trees. Why is it 160 million? I don't know. But look at the Ice Dragon and the Crazy Tree. Both of them have more than 900 in game that actually exist, whereas the exist says that it's 800 and something. The Jackson scale is the same. It says that 730 exist, whereas the reality is 803, and it keeps on going. This isn't accurate. The amount of these huges that actually exist in game, that they tell you that exist, it doesn't. And if you look at the results, some of them are kind of shocking. And if you can't tell already what I'm doing, I started off by showing you guys the huge robots and how many of them exist in game, and the next one up would be the huge dragon mask, and that's the current format all the way down to number 1, which you're going to see later on, and you're going to be shocked at a couple of things that you're going to be really shocked about. The huge Slayer says 169, but there's actually 170 in game, because at one point when the game was more alive, we had a contest and one person won a huge Slayer, the other person won a huge mage. Next up is the Phantom. 116 of these exist in game. The Fairy Bird 113, not much difference, but the Phantom has a lot more demand than the Fairy Bird. The Buff Axolotl says 81 exist, but in fact the reality is that 94 of them exist in game, and the huge Cloud Strider has 93. That's one less than the Axolotl, and the difference in price is like 350 million. Now the huge Pixie Cane is next up on the list, that I think in the future the Pixie Cane and also the huge Fairy Bird both will be in the 1 billion mark. The huge mage, there's actually 52 of this in game, because if you add the 51 added to this giveaway that they did and gave this to the number 1 winner, there's 52 of them in game. What you're looking at is the third rarest huge in the game, the huge Volcanica, that has actually 32 of them in game and not 29. The huge Atomic Lizard says 28, and so does the Christmas Dragon. It also says 28, but the reality is that the Christmas Dragon is one less than the Atomic Lizard, which means that the huge Christmas Dragon is the rarest huge based on the facts that we see in front of us. And like I said at the start of this video, it's not about the value or demand. We're basing the facts on what we see in front of us to see which one is the rarest huge in the game. The reason why I didn't add the huge Glooby or the spaceship alien is because they're still in game and you still can get them. They haven't even been on here for a week, and look at the numbers. 81, and then this, because there's less than 25 of them in game, you have to count them. There's 23 actually in game and not 22. The first huge, unfortunately, to have the Buddy 1 enchant instead of Sidekick enchant, there's 591 of these in game. And that's it for today, everyone. As you can see, the number 1 rarest pet in the game based on the numbers alone is the huge Christmas Dragon. However, my favorite will always be the huge Slayer. That's a huge difference between the huge Slayer and the Christmas Dragon. I'm not trying to tell you guys that the huge Atomic Lizard isn't worth anything. I tried to buy it for the longest time, but people want something like 3 billion, which is insane. But if that's the way the demand is for that pet and the value of the pet, then these pets behind me should be the same. And that's all that we have for today, everyone. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, it would mean a lot to me if you can leave a like down below. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. That would mean so much more. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day or evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all on the next one.